Season 3 of House of the Dragon begins by immediately reminding us that the Dance of the Dragons has entered a new phase. The first 2 seasons were largely about succession, family conflict, and political maneuvering. This episode shows what happens after those arguments can no longer be solved with words. The war is now fully underway, and nearly every character is forced to confront the consequences of their choices. The season opens with Rhaena finally claiming Sheepstealer, and it's one of the most important character moments in the episode. For most of her life, Rhaena has felt like an outsider within her own family. In a world where dragons represent power, status, and identity, she has constantly watched others claim their place while she remained on the sidelines. The fact that her dragon is Sheepstealer, a wild dragon that belongs to no one, feels fitting. Both Rhaena and Sheepstealer have spent their lives existing outside the roles others expected them to play. However, the scene also contains an important warning. While Rhaena successfully bonds with the dragon, she doesn't truly control it. That becomes clear later during the battle. The moment is therefore both a victory and a reminder that power is often unpredictable. Just because someone possesses power doesn't mean they can always direct it where they want. The storyline involving Aegon and Larys highlights how quickly power can disappear. Not long ago, Aegon sat on the Iron Throne. Now he is hiding in the back of a cart, dressed like a commoner and completely dependent on Larys for survival. Even in this situation, however, Aegon refuses to adapt. When asked to kneel and swear loyalty to Rhaenyra, he chooses pride over practicality and nearly gets himself killed. Larys, on the other hand, understands how the world works. He realizes that surviving is more important than protecting Aegon's ego, which is why he reveals the king's identity. Throughout the episode, the contrast between these two characters becomes clear. Aegon still clings to the symbols of power, while Larys understands that real power comes from knowing when to bend and when to act. It's another example of why Larys remains one of the most dangerous political players in Westeros. At Dragonstone, Rhaenyra becomes increasingly convinced that victory is within reach. After her conversation with Alicent, she believes there's a chance to end the war quickly by capturing Aegon. The problem is that nearly everyone around her sees flaws in the plan. Jace warns her that it could be a trap, and her council expresses similar concerns, yet she refuses to listen. What makes these scenes interesting is that Rhaenyra's confidence comes from a desire to end the bloodshed rather than from arrogance alone. She desperately wants the war to be over, and that desire causes her to overlook the risks. The episode suggests that even good intentions can lead to poor decisions when emotions become stronger than reason. Rhaenyra sees a path to victory and becomes so focused on it that she ignores every warning sign placed in front of her. One of the episode's central storylines is Aemond effectively becoming ruler in King's Landing. Unlike Aegon, Aemond has always been intelligent, disciplined, and capable. For years he has believed that he would make a better king than his brother. Now that he finally has power, however, the episode begins exposing some of his weaknesses. Although Aemond constantly insists that he's not afraid, almost everyone around him can see the truth. Helaena notices it immediately, and Alicent clearly understands it as well. Beneath his confidence is a young man who knows that eventually he may have to face Rhaenyra and her dragons. The more he tries to project strength, the more obvious his insecurity becomes. His rule is already starting to rely on intimidation and fear, which suggests that he may not be as confident as he wants everyone to believe. The scenes involving Criston Cole reveal how much the war has changed him. When Gwaine Hightower reports that a soldier assaulted a local girl, Criston refuses to take action. His explanation is simple: we're all beasts. It's a shocking statement because it comes from a man who once spoke constantly about honor, duty, and morality. The exchange between Criston and Gwaine represents two different views of humanity. Criston believes that people inevitably become monsters when war begins, while Gwaine argues that people only become monsters when they abandon their principles. Through this conversation, the episode explores how conflict slowly destroys the values people claim to fight for. Criston no longer seems interested in preserving honor. He has become convinced that honor is an illusion. Alicent spends most of the episode trying to prevent a disaster that she can no longer control. Unlike earlier seasons, she's no longer one of the main decision makers. Instead, she's forced to manipulate events from the shadows. Her secret letter to Aemond Hightower shows how much her position has changed. Rather than issuing orders openly, she now relies on deception. What makes Alicent's storyline compelling is that she understands the danger better than most characters. While others are focused on winning the war, she's increasingly focused on surviving it. She sees how unstable Aemond is becoming and recognizes that the conflict is spiraling beyond anyone's control. Her actions may not be entirely noble, but they're driven by genuine fear about what could happen next. The kiss between Alicent and Aemond is easily the most uncomfortable moment in the episode, but it serves an important purpose. Throughout his life, Aemond has desperately wanted recognition and approval. He has always lived in Aegon's shadow, despite believing himself to be more deserving of power. When Alicent begins praising him and telling him that he should have been king, she's giving him exactly what he has wanted to hear for years. The scene suggests that Aemond has become unable to separate affection, power, and validation. Alicent is attempting to manipulate him politically, but Aemond interprets her words in a much more personal way. The moment highlights the emotional damage that exists throughout the Targaryen family. Relationships are constantly mixed with ambition, power struggles, and resentment, creating situations that are deeply unhealthy. One of the episode's biggest surprises is Jace ordering Rhaenyra locked in her room. On the surface, the act looks like betrayal, but his motivation is actually the opposite. Jace genuinely believes that his mother is about to walk into a trap, and he's willing to risk her anger in order to protect her. The moment also shows how much Jace has matured. Earlier in the series, he would never have considered overruling the queen. Now he's confident enough to make difficult decisions even when they put him in direct conflict with his own family. The scene demonstrates that Jace is becoming a leader in his own right, which makes what happens later in the episode even more tragic. After being locked away, Rhaenyra breaks down and tears apart her clothing. This is one of the strongest symbolic moments in the episode because it reflects years of frustration. Throughout her life, she has had to fight against expectations placed on her because she's a woman. Even after becoming queen, people continue to question her abilities in ways they never would with a male ruler. When she says that she has the heart and spirit of a king, she's expressing a frustration that has defined her entire journey. The clothing represents the role society expects her to play, and destroying it symbolizes her rejection of those limitations. She cannot change how others see her, but she refuses to accept the idea that her gender makes her weaker. The conversation between Corlys and Addam is long overdue. For years, Corlys focused on power, legacy, and politics while neglecting his children. Now, as war threatens to take everything away, he finally tries to make amends. The scene adds emotional weight to Corlys' character because it forces him to confront mistakes that can't simply be fixed through wealth or influence. This storyline ties into one of the show's recurring themes, the cost of ambition. Many characters spend their lives pursuing power, only to realize too late that they have damaged the relationships that mattered most. Corlys is beginning to understand that legacy isn't just about names, titles, or history books. It's also about the people left behind. The Battle of the Gullet serves as the episode's climax and demonstrates how quickly carefully planned strategies can fall apart. Corlys, Jace, Baela, and the Triarchy all enter the battle with clear objectives, but the situation becomes increasingly chaotic as events unfold. Ships crash, dragons intervene, and unexpected factors constantly reshape the fight. The battle reinforces one of the central ideas of House of the Dragon. Wars are rarely controlled by the people who start them. Leaders may create plans, but once violence begins, chance and circumstance often determine the outcome. The chaos of the battle reflects the larger conflict itself, which is becoming increasingly impossible for anyone to manage. During the battle, Sheepstealer becomes a symbol of uncontrolled power. Although Rhaena has successfully bonded with the dragon, she quickly discovers that commanding it is another matter entirely. The dragon attacks whatever catches its attention, including allies, creating confusion on both sides. This mirrors the role dragons play throughout the series. The Targaryens believe they control these creatures, but the reality is often the opposite. Dragons give their riders incredible power, but they also introduce danger that can never be fully contained. Sheepstealer's behavior reminds us that every dragon in this war is ultimately a force of nature rather than a simple weapon. Jace's death is tragic because of how sudden and meaningless it feels. After spending the episode trying to protect his mother and lead his side toward victory, he survives one danger only to be killed by a few arrows while struggling in the water. There's no grand final speech or heroic last stand. His death arrives with brutal simplicity. That randomness is precisely what makes the moment so powerful. Jace represented the future of Rhaenyra's cause and had steadily grown into one of its most capable leaders. His death serves as a reminder that war doesn't care about potential, intelligence, or good intentions. It takes people regardless of what they might have become. By the end of the episode, the war has changed dramatically. Rhaena has finally become a dragon rider, but she has also learned that possessing power isn't the same as controlling it. Aemond has gained authority in King's Landing, yet his growing insecurity threatens to undermine his rule. Alicent continues trying to prevent catastrophe, while Corlys attempts to repair relationships damaged by years of ambition. Most importantly, Jace is gone. His death weakens Rhaenyra emotionally, politically, and militarily, while also proving that nobody is safe as the dance of the dragons escalates. More than anything else, the episode is about the illusion of control. Nearly every major character believes they can shape events to their advantage, but the war continues to move in directions nobody fully expects. As Season 3 begins, the question is no longer who deserves the Iron Throne. The real question is how much destruction will be left behind before someone finally claims it. Make sure to like and subscribe if you enjoyed this video, and I will see you in the next one.